It is not an objection. It's a clarification because they said this is new evidence that they had not seen before. It is in that context.
Much obliged.
Yes, yes. So 5 minutes.
All is well that ends well. Mr. Mahat will give the explanation. Thank you very much, Lady.
Your Ladyship, Madam Chief Justice, Deputy Chief Justice, and Associate Justice of Supreme Court, I wish to respond to 3 very quick issues that were raised by my learned colleague, Ms. Julie Soweto. The first one relates to a form that was shown this court. I will want the form to be projected.
Can we see the original or what is audited?
We will. Whatever that was projected from the portal, that is what we want the court to see. What Ms. Julie Soweto showed. You could go, please go to Jose Camargo. I want to produce to the court the original form 34A. Yes, you can see. It's okay. I want to produce the form 34A, the original form 34A, and I want to inform the court that the name Jose Camargo on that form is an overlay. Jose Camargo, the register of the QR code, that was printed by Smartmatic International, and it was printed in the name of Jose Camargo. You can show? The register is available.
We were very patient the way Mr. Mahat addressed the court earlier. Very, very persuasive. But for good order and not to interfere with his submissions, we kept quiet. And if you look back at the record, a lot of what Mr. Mahat was saying was actually giving evidence. He was talking using the word we. This is how we do it. The trajectory which he is taking, without a witness to tell us the kind of information he's going to give us, is going to put the court in a very difficult position. I think he should transform himself to a witness and we begin to cross-examine him. Because, and this is very serious, either we practice law the way we understand the law, or anybody can confront the court with any document at any time. I understood Mrs. Soweto to be giving an explanation in response to a question by the court. And similarly, Mr. Mahat was responding to question by the court. And therefore, he had some latitude. But now we are entering a different universe where he is now going to produce evidence. He is saying how the picture was taken. There is no certificate, and this is electronic evidence accompanied by an original. I think it is very, very dangerous territory. And unless some clarity is given on this matter, it is going to be very difficult to operate from now.
My lords, what we are trying to do is to show you documents in our own affidavits in response to documents produced from the bar. Ms. Soweto never produced the document she showed you in any of her affidavits. When we now invite you to look at the original and to make the argument that my learned friend is about to make, that there is a deliberate misrepresentation of what the original document looked like. So we are treated to this attempt to block that fact from the court. This is not a legitimate objection. This is an attempt to interfere with legitimate evidence that is on record.
Okay. Let's give it directions, because we'll be here until tomorrow and we don't have this time. Senior Counsel.
Just one point. And I'm normally very quiet, and I continue to be very quiet. But the good professor has misunderstood Ms. Soweto completely. It is not this document which is in question. It's the way the interference is being done, how this document is changed to another document twice or three times. I think the good professor will be doing a good service to the court. And if he is good coming into court with clean hands, he should first of all say, Mrs. Soweto, what Mrs. Soweto showed us today is not in their portal. That is the starting point.
Isn't that exactly
that is the starting point.
Bear with us, Senior Counsel. We've come thus far with a lot of discipline and dignity and respect to the court. The reason why we are here, and you saw us take a lot of time to reflect on the application that was made by, I think it started with Mr. Katwa Kigen, Mr. Kirago, and Mr. Ngatia. We resisted until we established from the pleadings that we have that these are new forms. And indeed, they are entitled to respond to them. So please, if you can just respond without taking us into anything else, just respond to those new forms, because they were not part of the ones that we have before us. We established that.
Thank you so much, Madam Chief Justice and members of the court. The difficulty we were facing in thinking about this, an allegation has been made as relates to this form. And there's an overlay of someone called Mr. Jose Camargo. What we were trying to show the court, that this is an overlay document. And we wanted to actually show the court where this document from Jose Camargo has come from. The document relating to Jose Camargo has come from the QR register, which is distributed to every polling station. And that document is even in the possession of this court. If you look at the scrutiny report, the QR documents are there. So what happened? Apio took an original Form 34A, he had the QR register, and he took a picture of it. What is the evidence that is being given in this court? That someone called Jose Camargo is interfering with this. And the point we want to make to this court is that if you look at the scrutiny report and if you look at the QR register, which is in those boxes, you will actually find the name of Jose Camargo on the register that has been printed. We've also produced the original Form 34A. We've come with the receipt. And we're being told that you cannot produce your original 34A, that Jose Camargo was interfering. And in fact, if you look at the numbers on the original 34A, it's the same as what the picture of the overlay was taken. So to the question that someone called Jose Camargo was interfering with the portal, it's actually not true. It's incorrect. And the attempt to prevent that evidence to the court is should actually guide the court that actually that is not true. Why will anyone try to interfere with a portal transmitting, and the result he has is the same as what is in the A and what is in the portal? So to that question, we submit that that is not true, and that is an overlay that someone who has taken the picture. We will give the court the Form 34A to compare with the original 34A with the certified copy that the court has. And in fact, we direct the court to the scrutiny documents. That register of opening and closing the KIEMS is there, and the name of Jose Camargo for purposes of audit trail is printed in there. Smartmatic, Jose Camargo is printed there. So what has happened? Someone, Apio, took a picture on that one. The next point I want to make is the issue of the KIEMS. We've been told there are two KIEMS kits which had the same serial number. And we understood our role to this court to give all the information to the court to make a decision. We admit that those KIEMS have the same serial number. It was an error that originated at the time of the serialization. But we want to tell the court that those KIEMS have different IMEI. They have different IP addresses. They have different polling stations. They have different, so they have different identifiers. And we acknowledge that that is an error that originated relating to those two KIEMS. But there are other identifiers that can identify those KIEMS are from our system. And we want to give that information to the court for purposes. Those KIEMS are on their way to this court. We will give to the registrar of the court for the court to analyze and to look at it. And if you look at those KIEMS, they transmitted the forms as required in the portal, and the A's also are coming, the original A's we will also give for those 3 forms. And our role is to give. The issue of transmission has come up. I just want to say this. There were 3 sets of transmissions at Bomas. One on the forms that has been downloaded, that was running properly. The second one related to the constituencies, that was continuing. The one which had stopped was the one on the tally. And the reason it stopped was, for 3 days, we had only verified 50 arrows. The process became clogged. For you to be able to transmit to the announcement, verification had to happen, then announcement happens. That means that those arrows have to be stopped because verification cannot happen as announcement is happening. We will be running numbers that have not been announced yet. So because of that, and because of the audit, forensic audit that most of the agents were recommending, we had to stop that process to give verification a chance. There was nothing malicious about that. With those few remarks, Your Ladyship, I stand guided. Thank you.
Mr. Mahat, maybe we can have a look at the
My lady,
original
if the
34 that you are showing.
sorry, my lady, Chief Justice, if the form can be handed over to the court. Excuse me.